Anything from the previous topics, assignments, anyone? Okay, so if no questions, then so far in yes, last class we covered about nested functions. We covered about scopes and namespaces, lambda functions, and map and filters. Okay. Today we are going to start with generator expression and generator functions. Okay. We'll see what is the use of this, what is the advantage of this. Okay. So generator expressions, they are
Sir,
yes.
before that, can you discuss one question from the assignment?
Yeah, sure. Which question you want to discuss?
So, from assignment number 9,
Assignment day 9. Yeah.
question number 13.
Question number 13. This one?
Yes.
Okay. So CA occurring 29 times. Okay. So what is this you want to discuss on this?
So, the continuous part, I'm not able to like figure out how to do that. I was able to count the longest, uh, sorry, the word having the highest count in the entire string. But when it comes to the continuous, like C
Yes.
is getting three count over here in the first part,
Yes.
and in the other part it was I think 19.
Okay.
So
So anyone else who has done this or one or they if they want to suggest something how to do this kind of question, anyone from the participants? What will be the approach here?
So iterate over this tree. First take count as 1
1 minute.
and
1 minute. Just let me write it. Okay. Iterate. First step is step number 1 over the string. This is step number 1. Okay. So it's always whenever you have a problem to solve, when you are trying to figure out the logic part how this will be done. Okay, it's always better to write steps. Be clear with the steps. What are you going to do before you try to write the code? Okay. So here, see, first step is telling we have to iterate over the string. Okay. What is the next step, Shivam?
yeah, then start from the first position, first indexed element, and compare adjacent elements one by one. If it is matching, then increase the count.
Okay, so the next step that we have is compare the first element with the second element. Okay. If matches, then increase the count.
Yeah, and initially also taken a variable like maximum is equal to 0, so that we can compare like every time.
Okay, initially take a variable initialize maximum equals to 0.
Yeah. So we will put a condition like if like adjacent will be same, then we will increment. If it is
Hmm.
not,
Hmm.
then we will compare the count with the max. If it is greater than that, then we
Hmm.
will put the value of that count with the max.
Let's compare count with max. And this is again a nested. Yeah, okay, let's compare this. If count is greater than max, then max will be equal to count. This is what you're trying to suggest, right?
Yeah, and also count is equal to again 0 if it is not matching
If it
with the
else,
adjacent.
okay, if matches, else compare count with max. If count, then max equals to count and count equals to 0, right?
Yeah, so that it will have a new new subsequence, so it will again start from zero, and again it will check with the max whenever
Okay,
it like discontinues the continuity.
got it. So this is the end, Shivam.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, guys, so there might be problem in understanding each line. Okay, but let's try to now put it in our code. Okay, this thing what Shivam has told. Okay. So step one, iterate over the string. How do I iterate? We can use a for loop, right? For let's say character in name. Okay, I'm iterating. Now the second step, what is the second step, guys? We have to initialize max equals to zero. Let's before iterating, let me declare one variable called maximum number of occurrence, and that we have initialized as zero. Now for character in name, now he's telling me that compare the first element with the second element, right? So how do we compare? Can we compare with this, or we have to take a different type of for loop for comparing one element with the other element?
The index we have to take,
Okay, so
I think.
this for loop will not work. Okay, so we have to take index, right? Okay, so how do we write the for loop for taking the index, guys? So this for loop will not work because here we are getting only one element, but in our scenario we have to compare the first with the second. Okay, so this for loop is not going to work, so I'm just commenting it out. This is not working. So how shall I write the for loop for index in what?
Range length.
Range of length of name.
Range of length of name. Okay, and then I'm comparing if name of I is same, right, equals to name of I plus one.
Sir, one thing here, if
Yeah,
we will take this if condition, so for the last one, it will go
Index
index
out
out
of
of
range.
bound.
Yeah,
okay.
index out of range.
Okay, so we have to do a minus one over here.
Yeah.
Okay, because for the last one, guys, if it comes here, index here D, then it will try to compare D with the next element. It won't be present, so that is why we are going till this D, and then it is comparing D with this. Okay, that is why we have done a minus one. Okay, if it matches, then we have to take another variable count, right? Count also initialize as zero. Okay, if it is matches, then I am doing an increment count plus equals to one. Okay, this is what we told. If compare the first element with the second element, if it matches, then increase the count. Else compare count with max. Okay, else what we have to do? Else we have to compare the count with max. Okay, so what we are doing, guys, let's take the string only. So first a equals to a, it is entering the if. Okay, again it will go till here, and the value of count will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so once it reaches b, then it will come to the else block. Okay, once it reaches b, it is coming to else block, and here we are checking if count is greater than max. So initially the value of count, we will see in visualize also, we will do that also. Okay, first we write the code. So if we see if count is greater than maximum, then what we have to do, we are doing maximum equals to count. Okay. In this also, after doing, and we are making count equals to, uh, so we know as it
We will
was.
again put value, initial value in the count, so that it will come again with zero. Uh, it will start again for the new substring.
Okay,
And
so yes,
one thing,
yeah.
like if we will take count as zero,
Hmm.
so it will, let's say for example, first substring a is there. So
Yes.
a is there. So we should take initial as one. Because like,
in this case, you're saying,
yeah, because like we are doing adjacent checks, right? Like
right?
let's say one, then two, then three, four, five, six, seven, in that way.
Correct. So when these two are matching, then the value should be two, you are saying, right? Rather
Yeah,
than one.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Correct. Correct. So you have to take it as one, right? Because by default we are taking it as one.
yeah,
Fine. Here also it will be one then.
yeah.
Okay. So this is done. Now you have to print maximum, right, at the end. Okay. So was this the question? Output will be C occurring 19 times. Okay, C, but we are only here. Let's say Day9, Day10, assignment 9, and this is question number
13.
13. So if we print this,
That there is
different codes, single code and double code was the mixed. So that is what was giving error. I thought, okay, instead of I, let me make it as I. Fine. So 20 times. Is this 20?
Yeah, yeah, it's 20.
20 only?
Yeah.
Yep. But in this, how will we know which character is occurring this one? 20 times C occurring. Which character? It's only giving me the count of the maximum occurrence of a character.
We can get another variable there, and we will
Okay.
every time we will have a max. If it is like greater than that, we can take that value
Don't
which
have
is having there.
another character. What shall I initialize as empty? And where do I need to change this value?
The second, if we can go char equal to I.
In the second else you are saying?
Yes, in the if count is greater
Char
than
name
max.
is equal to I at the last.
Count equals to 1, and here we have to give char equals to
I.
I.
Name I.
Okay.
Yeah, name I. Name I.
Oh,
Name I.
sorry. Name of name.
1 minute, but like
Mm, okay. I run this. C is occurring 20 times. I run this. A occurring 10 times. I just change the input. Okay. See, now we are getting a different output. I just changed the input. It was D at the end. Okay. There were two D's at the end. Then it is giving
but
me proper output. But if I remove that 2D at the end, it is not giving me the proper output. Yeah, correct. Okay, yes. Anyone else? Yeah. Why this problem, guys? Anyone can tell me why we are getting this problem when we have other characters at the end? It is not giving proper output.
We are setting the font equal to 1 every only when the font greater than maximum. We need to set every time the loop run again.
Every
I
time, if
think.
we no, so where do we need to change for that? So
Uh,
basically, yes, tell me, guys.
if count is greater than maximum, then only we are changing the count equal to 1. But we need to change the count equal to 1 every time the loop is run. I mean, it go to the first if condition.
Yes, so Irfan is correct. So what he's saying, see what I will tell you. What anyone else wants to add anything? Okay, so what we are doing here, guys, just check. Okay, so we are getting A's initially, fine. Okay, when it reaches the first B, it comes to the else part, and initially maximum is 0. It is checking, okay, this count, the value of count is, let's say 6 A's are there, greater than maximum, right? It is setting, it is keeping count equals to 1 and character equals to, it's fine. This is fine. The problem is when we have only C's at the end, okay? It is going from here, it is starting counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 18, 19, 20 times, okay? So after C, we don't have a different character. So it is not entering this else block. When it is getting terminated, so the last, for the last one, last value C, we don't have a D, so that it enters the, D block and changes the value. It is not entering the else block only,
Yes.
right? If we have the last one is as a longest occurrence, okay? So in that case, guys, what should you do? Like this will handle all the scenarios fine if we have a different here this way, but in this scenario where the last character has the longest sequence and it is not entering the else block, so if it is not entering the else block, guys, so it will come out of the loop, right? It's terminated, right? It will come out of the loop. Agree? So here it will have some value in count, right? The value of C will be in count, right or not?
Yeah.
The value of C will be in count. Okay. So there, after coming out of the loop, it will check again if this count is greater than maximum. Okay. Then we have to change the value. Maximum equals to count.
And also character.
Now, character also needs to be changed. So see, character, it is not entering the else block, right? So, but the character value it is having, why? Because when it entered this, right, first C, it came to this else block and we have the correct character value, right? C it is having. Post that it did not enter. So we are having the character value is fine. We don't need to change it.
Okay.
Okay. But in this case, okay, let's try to run this. I can think of another scenario. So this will run fine. Okay, in most of the cases, I think. It is still showing me A occurring here. That's what that is what I was thinking. A occurring. Okay. So what is happening? But character also, let's say it is still it is giving me the value of C as correct 20 times, but the character is showing A. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So what is happening, guys? When are we changing the value of this character? When this count is greater than max. Okay, so let's suppose in this case only, when it reaches the this first C, okay, what is the value of count of A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now this count is not greater than max, right? Because max is what? 7 is. So 5 is count is 5, maximum is 7, it is not entering. So the value of character is not getting changed. So that is the problem. Have you got the problem, guys? Why we are getting like this?
Yes.
So what is the solution for this?
Sorry, can you please repeat that the last one? Actually, I missed that.
So right now you see the output, guys. What is the output?
A occurring 20 times.
So it should be C occurring 20 times, right?
Yeah.
Where are we assigning the character? Inside if block, right?
E-
What
Else
if it does not enters the if block?
it will have like second largest character.
Right. So that is what is happening here. See, when it enters the C, okay. So we have the count of A, right? Continuous. How many A's are there?
Yeah,
1, 2,
yeah.
3, 4, 5. So this size is less than max. So it is not entering this if block and the value of character is not changing. Okay. Now to handle it, what can we do, guys? We can put an else block even if the count is not greater than max. Even if it is not greater than max, then still we have to change the character.
Yeah.
Okay. It is still showing A occurring 20 times. 1 minute. Ah, okay. So still, but it is not satisfying our thing. It's saying okay. So let's try to visualize this. Okay.
Gandhi, can we add this condition again in the last if condition before the print? Will that
No,
work?
before how will you assign the value of character of the current occurrence?
Same carry equal to name I after the line max equal to count after that line.
Max equals to yeah.
No,
That's
no.
let's
Yeah.
try. Let's try. I got it. So you're saying can we give it here, right? Char equals to because that is what is the name of I you are saying this?
We have tried this actually. Yes.
Okay. We got it because I value this is also one way of doing it. That's a nice approach because when it is terminating the value of I is like the last one because we are going till -1, right? So the value of I it will so let me print the value of I after the loop. Okay, what is the value of I? Is the value of I and this is the length of the string. Length of the okay. So if I run this now, it's fine. So value of I is 37, length of the string is 39. Okay. So like 39 is we have 39 characters and the I we are getting is 37. Okay. Because we have length of I length of name, right? So it is 39 minus 1, 38, and 38 is the upper bound. So it will go till 37 and it is like printing the character there. Okay. So this is one way of doing it. You can assign it at the end. Also here also you can put some logic uh, here if it is count is greater than maximum then we are assigning. If it is not greater than maximum then also because the character is this then also we can do it here also. Name of I, right? Here also we can put on logic and check. Okay, here also you can do an else part and try doing it. Hmm. This is not literal max. Here also you can do something like this. increment of this. Um, so if I run this now, still showing a. I don't know why it is still showing a is character where it is getting the value because I'm not sure. Okay, guys. This we need to explore. Okay, whether we can give it here or not. But there is a way. I know that. Right now I am also not able to figure out. But there's a way. So either way, you either do it here or you can do it at the end. Okay. So if we run it with some more values, let's say we have f or ddd at the end, and then if we run this, then also our code is working fine. Okay. Okay, so we got the approach, guys. How to solve this kind of problem.
Sir, I shared a like solution I was searching on net. So in that it was taking every substring and it was like inserting it into a string. And from there we can take the count of.
Okay, so
But
what?
I was not able to do it on my own.
So this is your code. So there can be multiple ways of doing it. So this is one way. Let's check out the other way also. So this is your code what you're doing for character in word. If character equals to -1 till you're going from the end you are checking.
Checking, yeah,
From
from
the
the
end
end.
you are going from from the end, and you are doing a plus and current word is empty. You are doing a current word plus you are changing it, you are adding the so this from -1 you are going reverse, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
are checking if character you're going from the forward like where is this for character one? You're comparing this one and then -1, like you're comparing.
-1 is of empty string at the first run.
Okay.
So if that is the case, we are adding the iterator element to the empty string in the first if condition.
Okay. Uh, so if they are equal, right? So I have only one thing. Okay, name, right? Okay, let's then first run this and check. Okay. Let's have another same variable. So is this working?
So what it will do is it will take each substring and it will insert into a list.
Okay. Let's run this and try to figure out. Okay. So I will just save this.
The
So
last element, I think it is not taken. Can you check the
F. Okay, 1 minute. F DDD it is not taking. Okay, so what you are doing, you are taking each continuous thing in a list, and then here from here you will find the maximum length of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, this way, yeah, this way also you can do it. Okay, another way which I can think of is like you can take you can just like we saw now how to uh take the count of each character in a dictionary, how to store, right?
Mhm.
So there also you can store each character in the dictionary, and then you have to find out the one which is the maximum value, and that you can
But
print it.
yeah, but in that case, the only part tricky was like how to check for the continuous value.
Right. In that case, correct. In that case, the yes. So you have to give a condition, right? To find the continuous value. Yes.
No.
So you can explore, guys. The other options also. Okay. Fine. Okay, so now can we start with today's topic, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so it's talking about generator expression.
That's why like I solved this. So I think I solved this, but for that case it didn't work.
Ah, right,
So for these kind of things like hacker rank and all these things like give lots of test case and only
correct,
like if we have. So
correct,
that's why
correct,
I think that is better for practice after doing all these exercises.
right. They have a lot of yeah, this one, they will check
Test
your
case.
code against different inputs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yes, right,
I thought I have solved, but like I was not aware of this.
correct. Uh, okay, guys, so coming to generator expressions, so we all know about list comprehension, right? Let's say, let's say we have to create a list of 1,000 numbers. Okay, so we can easily create using a list comprehension without like in a single line, like for element for element in the range of 1,000. So same thing, we can do it via generator expressions. Let me call it gen. Only thing is, instead of square bracket, I will be having this round brackets. Okay. The difference will be, so when we are using a list comprehension, you know what is happening? It is occupying the memory for these 1,000 elements. Okay. But in case of generator expressions, this is like, lazy evaluated. It will not store all the 1,000 elements in the memory. Rather than that, it will store only a very small piece of memory. And when we call each element, then it is going to give me the values. Okay. So I'm just reducing the size of the timing for to see the output. Let's take only 10 elements. And if I do this print list, and here if I do print of gen, so if I do this, you see for list, we are getting all the element, but for generator expression, we are getting only an object called generator object. Add this memory location. Okay. To fetch the element, what we have to do, we have to use a next here. Okay. When we call the next, then it is going to fetch the element, okay, from this. So next of gen will give me the first element. Again, we have to call next of gen to get the second element, then the third element, then the fourth element. Okay, this is one way of fetching the value. What is the advantage? Memory. The memory size will be very less when we compare the list and this generator expression. Okay, how can we check the memory size? So there is a module I have not discussed about it, but just for example, I'm showing you there's a module called sys. Okay, and let's create 1,000 elements for both. Okay, both are having 1,000 elements, and we are going to do sys dot get size of list, and similarly we'll see the size of this, get size of this generator X. Okay, so if I run this, so this is the size of the list in bytes. Okay, if you see, This list is occupying how much bytes, guys? How many bytes? 8,856 bytes for the same 1,000 elements. But our generator expression is occupying only 104 bytes. Okay. So this is one advantage of using it. And so what will happen either now accessing the element, right? We saw that list we can easily iterate. Same thing is for generator also. I saw one way we saw we were doing a next and it was giving me the next element, next of this gen. Okay. Either you do this, okay, or you can just iterate like a normal iteration for element in gen print element. Let me make it till 10. We want to go till 1,000. So if I run this, so we're getting an output 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So if you see, guys, this the first 0 that we are getting, this is from this next gen. Okay. Now the important part here is uh I will just mention here, this is from next function. Okay. So if I run this now, you see this from next function it printed 0, and then that 0 element is lost. Okay, like it already printed it, so you cannot retrieve it back. So now in gen you have element from 1 to 9. Okay, so we have printed them. Okay, now if I again try to to print the same here for element in this, you see we'll get an error. We didn't get any error, but it is not printing it. You see this? Why? Because once it iterates over the generator, all the elements are exhausted. There is no more element in this generator expression. That is why this is not printing me anything. Okay. This is not giving an error, but if I try to do this, call the next over this here. Okay. After printing all the element, I am just printing a next. So we will get an error here, stop iteration. That means all the elements are exhausted. Okay. This is how
By
this.
by absorption, what do you mean? The memory size will also get like zero. Will you check for that also?
Yes, so we can after iteration we can check the memory size also. So the memory size is still intact, but it has iterated over all the elements.
Okay.
Once we delete this element, then that memory will be cleaned up. Okay, so if I run this in that visualizer, okay. Python code, not 1 minute. Python code visualizer, and if I put my code here. So we declared a list. So the list is still getting created. Okay, so element values element is changing. So now we have the list complete. Okay, and then we are checking the size. We have not imported sys here, so see if this import sys works here or not.
Sir, can you also check the data type of gen also?
Sure, we'll check it. This import, okay, sys not supported. Okay, fine. Let me remove this for that sys all the operation process right now. Fine. Now let me visualize this. So this created a list. Now we have this generator expression. Okay. So you see this, it just created a generator instance. The list, it created everything. Now, when we call this next function, next gen, okay, so when we call the next, we getting the first value, that is 0. Okay. Now again, if you see, when I am iterating on the gen, the yellow, you can see the yellow part. It is again going to that same generator. If you see that, it again went back to this. It saw that, okay, first element is already exhausted. It is no longer present. So it will print from 1. So each time in the for loop, when we are printing, it will again go back to the gen expression and it will fetch value from there. Okay, because we don't have the value stored in the memory as in the case of list. So this is how the iteration goes for generator expressions. Okay, each time it will refer the generator expression, it will check till what value we have consumed, then it will go with the next value. Okay, now 7, 8, 9, and that is exhausted. So it will say it is exhausted. Now it will come to the, it is returning a none. There is no value present. Okay. Now now element 9, this is the last element we received from that. Okay. Now if you do a next, it will tell me that all the values have been consumed. So that's why we're getting stop iteration. Okay. Yes. Now tell me, guys, have you understood this concept of generator expression? Any question from this?
So once we iterate over the entire generator, we cannot like print the elements again until
No.
unless we
Correct.
initiate that generator again.
Right.
So it just like saves memory for us, but I think list will be faster if you want to like fetch any particular element.
Right. You can, in fact, once you have this generator,
Hello?
the main advantage here is, it will take less memory. Okay. And they are lazily evaluated. Okay, and if you see the data type of this, we want to see the data type of this. So it is of type class generate. It is clear.
I
Any
thought
question? Is
come out as a tuple.
tuple? No, it's not. A tuple you can directly iterate, right? You can use it multiple times.
So by lazy availability, so what do we mean here in this like generator context? So we know that it will take less memory. So
So
until unless we are
lazy evaluated is when you are calling a next on this. Okay, it will go back to this generator and then it will generate that element. Okay, every time you call next, it will again go back and it is generating at that moment when it is either encountering this for loop or it is encountering this next. So that is meant by lazily evaluated.
It will return only one theater, right?
Yes, one value at a time.
Okay, if we want 1 to 5 elements, then how to code that?
Okay, you want the first 5 elements?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. So let's try to do, if you want only the 1 to 5 elements. So what can we do? Let's say, can we use a range? Let's see, I have not tried it, but I am also seeing range from 1 to 5 elements, right? We can have a counter also. Because indexing will not work here. Okay, just like we have list of 1, list of 2, list of 3, that is not going to work here. So what you can do instead of this, you can have a counter. Okay, you can have a variable called count, and you can just increase the count each time and say count is less than 5. You are going to print it. Because here indexing will not work, just like we have in list, that will not work. So this is one way of doing it. Okay. Other way of doing it is you can, when you are getting this generator function, you can convert it into a list. Okay. So you can convert this generator function to a list by just doing like a list of, you can pass the generator function. Okay, so then it will behave like a list, and then you can do all sort of operation what you do on a list. Okay, these two approaches you can do if you want to have a fixed number. You want to take the first element or fifth element you want to.
Okay.
So we have to use this next keyword to like start iteration inside the
Either
generators.
either use the next keyword to for next will give you one element at a time. Like every time you have to use next, 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 next. Okay, you can use a loop. Okay,
Loop directly.
directly. We just saw that, right? We're taking a loop, you can print it, or you can convert it into a list. Okay, but once this gets converted to a list, all the values will be exhausted. Okay, so let's see. I'm printing this gen list. Okay, so I'm printing this thing, and then you will see these elements will not get any more output. So see this, we got where is it? Which one is the list? I don't remember. We're printing the list anywhere. So we have this first print element, which is printing the size 184, and then we are printing this gen list. Okay, this one. And after that, if you see, all these functions, they are not working because once it is converted to list, all the values are exhausted, like consumed. There is no other value to print here on this. Okay. So when there is no other value and you try to do a next, it will give you an error. This is the error stop iteration error. So guys, any doubt? Anyone? Generator
So,
expressions.
so like what is the like use case in the
See,
programming?
use case of this will be when you have millions of record
Okay.
and you are trying to, you have you don't want the millions of memory to be consumed for that. Okay, you want to do it on demand.
So this is kind of like optimization way of execution of program.
This will save your memory to be more precise. If you want the less memory to be used and when you have huge collection of data, then you can go for this.
But sir, it has also its limitation because we cannot do the indexing and all that.
Yeah, you cannot do indexing, but you can iterate over it using a for loop, right? There are two,
Mm-hmm.
just like a list, you can iterate each element. Here also you can iterate.
Correct.
So
Sir,
this is
in one of
another.
the,
Sorry,
I
please go
was
ahead.
saying that in one of my interviews
Yeah.
for big data, I was asked like, do you know about generators and all?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a very common question in interviews about generator expression, then we have something called generator functions also. We'll just look after this.
Generator we will only use when we have to deal huge amount of data just to save the
Memory,
memory.
correct, exactly.
So,
Okay.
sir, like
Yes.
it here indexing is not there, so this is unordered, like kind of thing.
You can say this is no, we cannot say this is unordered, because this is a totally different data type. Ordered, unordered, we have kept it for list, tuples, dictionaries, sets. Okay, but here it is a generator, and we have some other concept related to this called iterator and all. So we will cover those. Then you will be better. You will be able to correlate this better.
So this is a
Okay.
function, sir, not a data type, right? Or is it a data type?
No, this is a generator expression. And if you see
Okay.
data type, we have seen, right? It belongs to this class. It is a generator object also. You can say it is a generator object. Okay, like which object? When we are storing this value here in this gen, okay, so this belongs to a generator class. Okay, this is an object of generator class. But this particular thing which we are giving in only in round bracket without saving it, this is called a generator expression. Okay.
So do we also talk about the mutability or immutability of this?
No, mutability. This is immutable, right? Once you create it, you're not able to change it, right? We are not able to assign any value and all to
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Any other question, guys? Okay. So this was generator expression. Let's dive into generator functions. So generator functions just have a definition. A very simple function, guys. I am just iterating over, let's say, a list, or let's say here we are taking a range. Okay. And instead, we are using this yield statement, yield, yield I, and we are calling this generator function, let's say, and storing it in a result. And if you see the data type of this result type, I'll tell you guys what is yield and all. Okay. This generator functions. So this also belongs to class generator, guys. And like what yield does is, so this belongs to class, this same way we have to access it. Okay, guys. So when I call a next of I, again I call a next of I, save this, and let's do it in the visualizer. Okay. So we have this function is getting stored. We are calling this result. We are seeing the type. It's a generator. Now see when we call next of I. Okay. So it is again name I is not defined. Why I'm calling next of I have to call, sorry, my mistake. I have to call next of this result, not I. Sorry, next of result. So result. So in this case, type is this. When we call next of result, so see again it went to this function. Okay, when we call next of result, it went to that function. It went to this for I in the range, and it yielded I. Okay, I is 0, and it is returning me, return value is 0. Okay, And then when we again call next, again it will go. So now see, now it did not went to the starting of the function. Okay, now it directly went to yield I. Okay, and here it will just go to the for loop and it will give me the next value. So it is basically it is pausing the execution, like what we saw in function till now, guys. When we use return, it was the function is over. Okay, you call it again, it will be calling, it will be called from the beginning. Okay, but what happens when we call this next, when we use yield I, so it is returning, when we call next, it is returning the first element and it is pausing the execution. All the variables, everything is saved here. Okay, when we call next I, again it is continuing with the next execution. Oh, I was 0, it has that value in the memory. Okay, I was 0, now it will give me 1. Again, if you do a next of I, again it will just save all, it will save this, like till it will know till what point I have executed. Okay, again it will give me the next value 2. Okay, but if we will use if we have this statement, let's say if we have a normal this, if this is a normal function, what will happen? I return, I'm doing a return. Okay, and this gen, this is fn, and let me do the same thing, store the result somewhere. This gen function and underscore function. Yeah, so each time you call this function, okay, and it is returning now. So let me print them also. Print result. And here also you can put it in print statement. Like this, I'm explaining these concepts. Like they are not normally used, but you might encounter these questions in interviews and all. Okay, so that is why I'm covering this concept. So if I run this now, I is not defined. Where is I at? Okay. So we have 0, 1, 2, but for see, but for when we are calling function, it is returning and the function is finished. It is not able to save, that, okay, it returned 0, then it will return 1. It is not able to save it. Okay, it is returning 0 and, but in case of a generator function, it is returning 0 and this is all these like local variables, the values are saved. So next time when we call, it will give me the next value. Next time we'll call, it will give us the next value. Unlike functions, where every time you call, it will start from the very beginning. Is this clear, guys? Have you understood this?
Yes.
Yeah, but like in real time, like do we use really?
In some cases, it is used. In some cases, depending on the scenario, though very rare, but it is used.
So like you are saying like this is like used for generally for like interviews and all, mainly like they can ask you, but
For conceptual wise, they will ask you what is the difference, what is this generator functions, okay, what is the use of it. Same case, no, like see, you have generator expressions, right? So
Hmm.
there also, if you want to save memory, you can do it. Similarly here also, let's say you have 1 lakh records, okay, in a list, and 1 lakh record, you don't want to from that you want to filter, like it will take long time to process that 1 lakh records. Okay, each record you have to check, okay, whether to which state a person belongs. Okay, so each time you will check, okay, this belongs to this state, okay, then do this. So what will so rather than returning the entire thing over here, you can take one record, process it, okay, and then
Hmm.
you call the next record. So this will save your memory also in this case.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay, guys. So I hope guys this generator expression and generator functions are clear. So once you get the result, now whatever we have done via generator expression that we saw, we can convert it into a list. We can use a for loop. Everything you can do similar in the same way. Okay. Because this is the generator object and we can handle it in the same way we are handling this gen element. Okay, both are same.
Sir, but like if we create a generator function and then we convert it into a list, then that defeats the purpose of
Correct.
generator.
If you
Don't you
convert
think?
it into a list, then there is no, then it's same only, right? No way, no benefit of using a generator function. Okay, guys. I hope it is clear, guys. Everyone.
Clear.
Okay. Okay. So
Yes.
now we have a list of elements 21, 32, 56, 78. I want to sort this list, guys. Which method I have to use?
Sort, dot sort.
Okay, dot sort. Save this. Day10. We are talking about sorted functions. Okay, if I run this, oh, it's returning me none. Why is it returning none, guys?
Sir, because we have to sort first and then print this.
Okay, we have to sort first and then we have to print it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Uh, so basically, it is sorting the same, like it is not creating a new instance of a new
Yeah.
list of it. It is just sorting it in this.
Mutables.
And it is already sorted also. I have not done any changes. Okay, 1 to 1. Now it is looks good. Okay. 32, 56, it is, yeah, sure. Now there's another function to shorten, guys, called sorted. Okay. So if we use this function sorted and the name of the list, okay, and let's store the result. So this is also returning me a list. Okay. But this is, what is the difference between the two, guys? Can you notice any difference?
The sorted function is giving output, but in case of sort function, it was giving none.
Let me make it more clear. Now you see the output. Now you know what is the difference between the two, guys.
The sorted function will work for like any type of collection.
That's fine. But here the difference, what I'm talking about is list.sort is not returning any new list. Okay. But here the sorted is returning a new list. So that is why if you print this, it is returning none because it is not returning anything. It is sorting internally the same element. But in case of this one, which is returning a new list. Clear? So clear this much?
Yes.
Now let's take a tuple. Let's take a tuple.
But sir, like we know that if new list is like returning, so we know that list is mutable. So you are saying that a new memory location will be created for with this function.
Yes, obviously, when it is creating a new variable, then obviously it will allocate a memory for that variable to store somewhere, right?
So you are saying like it overrides the property of mutability of the list.
No, definitely not. Your list is intact. Your list is intact. It is creating a new list. Your original list is intact as it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's creating a new list. Okay, so if we try to sort a tuple, okay, let's show the result. So see, even if tuple it is sorting and it is giving me a new list. The tuple is intact. Tuple is immutable only, right? We cannot change any element, but it is sorting and returning us a new list. Okay, this is the use of sorted. So far clear, guys? Any doubt?
It's clear.
Yes, yes.
Now there are some very good use cases of a sorted function can take three parameters. Okay, this sorted one is we saw we are giving a list and tuple. Okay, uh, let's have a list of fruits. Okay, so we have in this apple, banana, watermelon, grapes, or let's say chiku. Uh, Now let's say the question here is I want you to sort the list by the length of each string. You got my question, guys? Sort the list by the length of each string.
Hmm.
How do we do this? Let's say it's a general case. We are not using anything sorted function for this. How will you approach this kind of problem?
We can count the length of the string by tracing over the list. We can store it in another list and then we can solve.
Okay. Let's say we have created another list here. And here it will do length of each element. Okay, for element in list of fruits. Then what are we going to do? We have got the length.
Yes, we can.
Then you want me to
Then
short this list of length or short.
yes, we can do that.
After this,
We can print.
no, this will print only this one, length. I want the name of the fruits to be printed by their size.
Oh, okay.
This is giving me the size, that's fine. Now, there are 2, 5, 5, 6, 6, 10, 10. Okay. Now what will I do after this? Anyone, any idea?
Hello.
Okay, fine. No worries. Instantly, it is very difficult to come with an approach.
We
Uh,
can
yeah. Yes, we can.
store the count and the word itself inside a like a dictionary.
Okay, we can
But
store it in
then
a.
again, we'll have to change it back to list if we want to.
Fine,
That
guys.
will not.
I will keep it as an open question. Okay. Then let's make this interesting. We'll discuss this thing. Till now, we have seen some sorted functions and use cases. Okay, we'll discuss it in the next class, tomorrow's class. Okay, I will just leave it here. Okay.
Danesh, can you explain me this line list underscore len equal to bracket len element? Actually, I did not
This
understand.
one.
Yeah, yeah,
This.
yeah.
Okay. This is just you. You understand this list comprehension, right? List comprehension. How we create list comprehension.
Yes.
So, and this len function is this is a global function for finding the length of any element. If you do a length of list, it will give you the length of the entire list. If you do the length of a string, it will give you the number of characters in this string. So there are 5 characters for apple, 6 for banana, just like that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys.
Can you paste this in the chat?
This entire thing.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So, yeah. So we'll discuss this in tomorrow's class.
But in
Okay.
case of sir, if
Yeah.
there is if two words having equal length,
Then that is a challenge. Okay. So for the time being, you just assume, let's say we have unique lengths. Okay, that will make your task easier. I know it will be difficult if you have a different length, right? Let's say each will give you a unique length for the timing. Just assume that. Okay, you can change the like input like that, which is having unique values.
okay.
Okay, then you can try solving it, because yeah, that will be a problem if you have the same length. It will be a problem. Okay, uh, assumption is string length will not be, though this is a very impractical assumption, but just for solving this, we are doing it. Okay,
So in
string.
case like we have to check the alphabetical order also. So do we use the sky values or what do we do in that?
No, you just compare don't think about ASCII value or something. Just compare A with B. It will give you that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's stop here. And what is that we have covered today? 1 minute. Special generator functions, and we just started about sorted function. We have more things to cover about the sorted. Right. Let's start oops today. Okay, classes and objects. Class and object. So far, guys, what are the different objects we have seen? Like if we have, A is 20, name is, let's say we have Imran, and if we see the type of A, if you see the type of name, okay, we're starting with class, new objects. So guys, if you see, it is showing class and class str. So what this shows that this particular variable A, this belongs to class A, or we can say this is an object of class integer int. This is an object of class string. Okay. In Python, like it's like a pure object-oriented programming. Even if you have a function, like let's say def fun, and you have some statement, let's say I'm keeping it as a blank. even if you see the type of this also belongs to a class. Okay, this is not which is unlike other programming languages. If I see the type of one also here, so see, this also belongs to class function. That means that fn is an object of function class. Okay, so what can we conclude from this? A is an object of int class, and name is an object of string class, and fn is an object of function class. Okay, so here if you see, they all belong to one class. They all are like objects of one class or the other. Okay. So in Python, that is why it is called a pure object-oriented programming language, because most of the thing here are objects. Okay. So what if I want to create my own class and my own object? Okay. So let's see. Uh, this belongs to this. Okay. And if you want to, how can we see that? Okay, let me see if I can show you that. If I type like this, help int. Okay, so squeeze. So if you see this, guys, if I just type help and the name of the class, int class. Okay. So it is giving me the syntax. Okay, this is a class and this is the name of the class. Okay, in brackets, what it is, I will tell you later what is that. And you have in this class, you have some methods. Okay, and these are the methods you have, all starting with double underscores. And there are some methods without double underscores. So a lot of things are there. Okay. So, but this is the general syntax of declaring a class with if you see this class and the name of the class like this. So we can also create our own class. Let's say class students. This is the name of the class. And in this class, right now it's not having any statements. I'm just giving a pass here. Okay. And if I type, what should I type? So this is a normal class, guys. Let me save this. I will tell you like the definitions and all, but just first I want to show you how we declare one class. Okay, user defined class recognition. This we are defining. That is why I mentioned user defined class. Okay, those int and function that we saw, and function, these are inbuilt classes that Python is having. Okay, and this is the class which we are creating. And after creating a class, guys, so what we are doing assignment like this, a equals to 20 or name equals to this. Okay. And to create an object of the class, what we have to do, guys, we just do let's say the object name as, let's say, obj, and I will do like this. Okay, students. And if I see the type of this obj, I run this. So it belongs to class. It has added something under, ignore this for the time being, underscore main underscore. It belongs to class students. Okay. So this is an object of class student. Okay. Now class can have so basically class will have mm, all the properties let's say mm, like in this a student's class. Okay, so what are the property the student can have? Just imagine like a student, how will we identify the student? Okay, we'll have something called name, right? We'll have some ID, and you can have other details also like name, ID, address. There are many details that can have. Okay, name, ID, address, or address. So city and all will come. Phone number. These are the properties. Okay, so these properties we can have it inside the class. So how will we define it, guys? So class can have variables, variables and methods inside it. Okay, and methods inside it. So instead of methods, you can tell functions also. Okay? Variables and functions inside it. So let's say we have one function called uh, like set name. This is one function, guys. And here, what I will do, let's say set name. Here we have to pass name. Okay, I will tell you how this works. And here you have to pass something called self. I will tell you what is this self also. Self dot name equals to name. And let's say we have get name. We have only two methods, set name and get name. Setting the name, we are setting the name, and get name is returning me the name. Return self dot name. So now we have created, this is the way we create an object of the class, guys. Okay, we give the name of the object equals to the name of the class. And then for setting the name, let's say we have to call this method. Set name, I'm passing a name, let's say I'm passing Danish, and I want to just get that name back also. Right? So this is the name of the method, get name. So in this, what we are doing, guys, so we have a class, and this class is having two functions, set name and get name. Okay, the set name, it is like it's taking one parameter called name. Okay, this self, ignore for the timing, I will tell you what is this self. And this get name is returning that name. So there can be multiple. Now in this class students, right, there can be multiple objects. Like this is one object, uh, obj, and we are setting the name as one of the student. Okay, similar to this, we can have n number of objects for this particular class. Let's say we have another object obj1, and in this I'm creating another object called Shivam, and I'm just printing that name obj1. So if I run this, you see, so we are getting the name of the first object, second object. Okay. So basically what how we can define a class, guys. So there are multiple definitions online. So one thing that we can define that a class basically has all the like it's basically consists of variables and functions. Okay, it's a, like we can say class is a blueprint. Mm, is a blueprint for creating objects. Okay, like blueprint in the sense like see before, like a building is constructed and all, right, we have a plan. Okay, that okay, this building is going to have this many floors, this will be the size, this will be that. So we have a blueprint. Okay. Similarly, for students, like, so let's say each one of you is a student. Now you will be having a set of properties, right? You have a name, you have an address, you have an ID, you have a phone number. So all those properties are clubbed together, okay, at one place, and they are defined in a class. Okay. And like this is student class. Okay. Similarly, if you have a class, let's say called class car. Okay. So if you have a class car, guys, so what are the attributes that can be present in the car? It can have, it can have engine, can have the company name, right? It can have a color. So there are like n number of things that we can, it's a diesel or a petrol, a lot of things are there, right? What we can have. So all these properties are clubbed together to create a single class. Is it clear, guys, so far? Any questions, anyone till now?
Yes.
Okay, and
So in
this,
short, like class is a collection of all the attributes of any particular object.
you can define like that also, the collection of, so whatever is defined inside the class, na, like method, or let's say now we have another variable also defined in this variable. Let's say I have something called subject equals to Python. So we are all student of this Python class. Okay. Or you can say yeah. So basically this variable, these methods, okay, whatever is present inside the class, they are called attributes. Okay. Like the variables and functions present in the class are called attributes. Okay. Uh, yes. And why do we use the class objects? Okay, when we want to follow. So there are two types of programming, guys. When we use class and objects to create, to build a system, that's called object-oriented programming, because everything is going around objects. Okay. And we have another way of programming that is called functional programming. Okay. Like we can solve a problem either using object-oriented programming or using not functional programming. This is a different one. Procedure-oriented programming. Okay. And these days we have a new thing coming up called functional programming. Okay. So functional programming, like we cannot achieve many things with this, so we cannot compare this with these two out of comparison here. But whatever we can achieve via procedure oriented programming, we can do it also via object oriented programming. Okay. Now some software system, it is better maintained for well maintenance and better design, they use object oriented programming, like, and for some they will use procedure oriented programming. Okay, depend on the use case and all. Okay, and this is how we create a normal class. So when we are seeing this, so object creation, okay, guys. So in this, we are seeing that we are creating objects like this. Okay, we are creating obj equals to student. This is creating my object. Similarly, if we see this one here, okay. So here, if you might have a question. Here we have a different way of creating, right? We are giving a equals to 20 and a is an object, right? We are not using this one like this. Okay. So this is a equals to 20. Basically, this does the same function. Okay, this stands for like you are creating something like this, a equals to int, and you are passing a 20 value here. Okay, so let's see if we can create an object like this. So a equals to integer and mk. Let's say we are calling it as b. B equals to int of 50, and then I'm printing the type of b. So if I run this, you see this, we can also create an integer like this also. So this basically, when we write a equals to 20 is a short form of writing this. Instead of writing entire thing, they are writing like this. Okay, that is present by default in Python. Either you create like this or you create like this. Similarly, when name equals to Imran, what they are doing internally? Internally, it will call this name equals to the name of the class. So the name of the class is str, right? Yeah, str, and then you are passing the name. This one, okay.
That's why it is called dynamically typed.
That's why it is called.
Dynamically typed language.
No, dynamically type is different. We are not declaring any variable type here in the beginning. That is why it is called
Oh,
dynamically type.
oh,
But this they are creating, actually when we are writing a equals to 20, it is creating an object of integer class. So here also you see we have this class students. So this is our user defined class. When we create an object, we do it like this. Object equals to student and this bracket. Okay. Similarly, they are also doing the same, but they internally this is only happening. This is the name of the class and then bracket. But short form of creating this is using directly this equal to operator.
okay.
Okay, so like when we have a list, let's say we have a tuple, right? Tuple equals to 23, 44. So when we convert this, so in how what is happening here internally? So tuple, if you see, this is also an object, right, of tuple class. This is also an object of if I print this. This is also an object of tuple class. So internally, what is happening when we are declaring like this? It is calling this tup equals to tuple of 23, 44. This is what is like going in behind the scene. Okay. So this is the general syntax of creating object, guys. Object and the name of the class. Now inside this bracket, okay, here we are not passing any values if you see, but here if you see they are passing values, right? 20 or these values. So why? Because they have something called a constructor. Okay. So right now we have understood about class, guys, and we have understood about objects. Okay, we are going a little bit slow here because everyone is not familiar with this, so it will take some time to understand. Okay, so first try to understand, have a like general overview, then you can ask your specific questions. Okay, so right now we have understood how we define a class, right? Class, name of the class with the colon. And inside that class, we know it can have variable and functions. When a function is defined inside a class, it becomes a method. This is the difference between function and method. When a function is defined in a class, it becomes a method. And to access that method, we need an object of the class. Now, if you see this set name is a method, we cannot call it directly like this set name and we pass the name. If we do it, we get an error. Set name is not defined. Okay, because set name is defined inside the class. To access it, we have to create an object and then we can access it. Okay. Similarly, when we have, so let's say tuple. Okay, tuple has a method called, what is the method of tuple, guys? Anyone remember? Let's say count.
Count index.
Okay, count. So this is a method, but if we try to do it directly, count 23, this will give us error, right? But tell me count is not defined. Okay, why? Because count is a method inside which class, guys? Tuple class, right? So if I open here, if I open the tuple class here, let's say help tuple. So inside this tuple class, you will see a what's that? Method called count. You see this count is defined like this: self, comma, value, comma, this, right? Index, right? So and so these are called methods, guys. Okay. Now, what are functions, guys? Function we can use without creating any object. Let's say we have this function, right? Len. We can call it over this tuple. Will it give us error?
No.
No. Why? Because it is a function, right? It is a function. We don't need to create any object. It does not belongs to any class. Okay. So is the difference between a function and a method clear, guys, to everyone?
Sir, so where are these function declared? Like length in some like library or any other module?
Yes, difference between method and like these are built-ins. These are built-ins and they are present. You can say it's present in a global library kind of thing. Globally, length, input. Okay, so what if we see these? So these are keywords yield with while return or if yes. So we have something called built-ins. It is present in that. Okay. Built-ins. mm, Built-ins. Built-ins. No, these are built-in. These are built-in methods of string class, not for this. Okay, I will show you where it is defined. Okay, I will show you. So just consider they are built-in methods present globally. You can use it anywhere. Okay. Mm, Coming back to this. Okay, so we are clear, guys. Difference between methods and functions.
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, now we coming back to this, like we know this can have variables, methods. Now talking about constructors. Okay. So see, one way of setting, giving some values to the object. Okay. One way of setting is using this set method. We call it like this. Another way is using constructors. So how do we define a constructor? So we have this. This constructor is also a special method. You can say it is a special method for initializing an object. So the syntax is you have to give def and then double underscore I and it method. Okay. And inside this, you can give all the parameters. Let's say self name, and here I am doing self dot name equals to name. Now this set name is no longer required because we are initializing our object through this constructor. Okay. So now instead of now if I call this construct, so basically when we call this object equals to student, it is calling the constructor. When we are not defining the constructor, it is calling the default constructor that is present in the parent class of all the classes in Python. That is the object class. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, if I run this, I will get an error that init method is requiring one positional argument name. That means we are now we are defining the constructor. So when we define an object, we have to pass the value here. It is expecting this. Where is it? We are calling again here, right? So this one also we have to declare. Okay. So now you see, now we can correlate this with this. Why they are passing the value here, right? Because they are so basically we can say when we are doing this, it is calling the constructor. Okay. Constructor is always called with the class name, and then we are passing this value. So that is why if you see we are passing like this int 20 string name. So basically it is calling the constructor of the class string when we are defining like this. It's calling the constructor of class string. Okay. It is calling the here also in tuple, it is calling the constructor of this class tuple. And if you see each class, console, yeah. If you see this class, guys, when we define this, they will have the constructor defined. Built-in, where is the constructor methods, class methods? Okay, if I see if I see this class in although uh, they are not showing the directory that init from guys static method. If I do a dir of this end, then you see the init. You see this init. So this is the constructor. Like these are all the attributes. When I do a dir of the class name, it will give you all the attributes for that particular class. Okay. So now we have created this class. What is our class name? Students. Okay. So if I do a dir of students, you see there are some methods which we have not defined, that is starting with double underscore. They are coming by default. Okay. But can you see the classes that we have defined the name of the methods, guys? Can you see in this? We have this class get name method. We have this method called set name. And we have this a variable called subject, right? And all these other methods, they are coming from the parent class that we'll check once we cover inheritance. So far clear, guys? Constructor, how we are calling how we are creating object using this constructor.
So the constructor is a, you can say, default function inside of a class, which gets initiated if we don't call an object of that class.
What we can say that like constructor, is a method in a class that helps you to create the object, create and initialize the object. What if we don't have the constructor? Then what is going to happen? Initially we saw, right, there was no constructor.
Mhm.
Initially there was no constructor. Then we were not passing it like this. We are doing a set name. But then, as I told you, that constructor is a special method for initializing, you can say, or you can say for creating an object. Then how the object was getting created. Okay. So what it was doing, guys, it was calling the constructor of the parent class. It was calling the constructor of the parent class of all the classes in Python. So what is the parent class, guys? It is called object. Object class is the parent of all the classes in Python. In tuple, any class we defined, all will be an object of which class? Object. All will be the subclasses of this parent class. This parent class name is object. And when we don't define a constructor, it is going to call the constructor of this class object. Okay. So you can see the object class here. Help objc. So this is our class. You see, this is the class object. Okay. So this is this is the base class of a class hierarchy. This is the topmost class. Okay. You can see all the methods of this parent class here. You can do a dir of the parent class, and you can see all the methods that are in this class. Okay. So when we are not defining the constructor, it is calling the constructor of this base class or the parent class in it. Clear so far, guys? Any question, any doubt?
So Danish, there will be only one init function, right, per class?
Yes, we can have only one init function.
Okay.
So, Danis, we don't have to get the class file unlike Java here. We can write everything in the same, same editor.
In Java also, see the file names will be .java only. You can have a class in that file, or you can have function methods in that file. Similarly, here the file will be .py file.
Okay.
And in this .py file, you want to write a function, you want to write a class, everything you can do.
Okay, so we can have the class, and inside the class methods and whatever required we can write, and then apart from that we can write separate method, separate something coding also, right?
Yes, we can have functions also. This is not part of this class. So class also, this indentation is maintained, right? So all those which follow this indentation will be part of this class. We can have other methods also inside.
Okay. So we can have multiple class also in the same file.
Yes,
right?
we can have multiple classes also. Correct. So basically, today we just went through what are class, what is object, what is constructor, how do we create an object. We have covered the very basics. This in tomorrow's class we will cover them in detail. How to write setters and getters for class. Okay. And then we will cover different OOPS concept, right? Inheritance, abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism. Those things also we are going to discuss tomorrow. You guys can also, study on your own a little bit about class and object, and then you can study and come prepared in tomorrow's class with all your questions. That way you will be able to understand better.
Yes, sir. I will go through the session once again.
Yeah,
Yes.
I will also go again.
Because this is a new topic, now it will take some time to get into it, right? So okay, guys. So I think we can end the class now here. Any question, guys? Anyone?
Danis, I have a request. Actually, I missed a couple of last couple of class. So
Okay.
you are noting in the notepad, right, what I covered. So if we share the last two class, what is covered, that will help me.
Sure. So which classes you want?
Day 7, 8, 9. Yes,
I can paste everything on the day 10 we have covered just about class. All cycles. Here we go. Your message is too long. Please try to send multiple shorter messages. Okay. Message is too long. Okay, I have just sent that day from day 7 I have sent.
Yeah, that will be great. Thank you. That will
Uh,
help me while going through the recording.
yeah, sure. Any other question down, guys? Okay. If nothing, then we can wind up the session. Thank you for your time, guys. See you all tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.